The tongue of angels, the axis mundi, was sometimes quite deadly. It should not be surprising, therefore, that this same axis mundi, in the guise of the sword of the Lord, should be equally deadly. It will be this plasma sword that the Lord will use to slay the wicked at the second coming. In our dispensation, the Lord has promised that with his fiery sword of indignation he will thresh the nations. In a later revelation, he repeated the promise. Samuel the Lamanite called the sword of justice. The sword of justice hung above the people in the heavens. The sword of justice of the eternal God was repeatedly used to remind the Book of Mormon peoples of the judgment of God. Captain Moroni used the thread of the heavenly sword in his letter to Pahoran. Captain Moroni likewise threatened Ammoron with the sword of justice and the almighty wrath of God unless Ammoron would withdraw his troops. Ammoron, like Moroni, knew of the sword of God above him in the heavens. Moroni, the son of Mormon, warned the Gentiles in the latter days that unless they ceased spurning the doings of the Lord, his sword of justice would fall on them. The axis mundi, the sword of wrath, indignation, and justice, was a plasma discharge, a Birkeland current extending between the planets Mars and Earth. A plasma discharge can be both benign to human life and deadly depending upon its intensity. It can be as benign as our aurora borealis. Conversely, a high-energy plasma discharge can be as devastating as the interplanetary discharge between Earth and Mars that carved out Valles Marineris and another one that carved out our Grand Canyon. When the axis mundi returns at the second coming, both benign and catastrophic phases of the plasma discharge are to be expected. At very high energetic levels, plasma discharges will emit deadly synchrotron radiation. We know this was the case in the past, judging by the figures carved in the rock art found throughout the world.
The truth is that today's uneventful sky offers no analogy for the profound spectacles in the skies above our early forebears. Earth-shaking electrical activity, recorded on stone around the world and recounted in archetypal myths and symbols, provoked a collective response from ancient people as if their lives depended on it. In fact, the lives of millions of people did depend on their response to these events, since, as Peratt himself acknowledged, the synchrotron radiation would have most likely been deadly. Humans survived by retreating to caves, and in many instances, artists in the open would have died without the shielding provided by neighboring cliffs.
When the Savior returns, there will be times when the plasma arcing between Mars and Earth will reach energetic levels sufficient to produce synchrotron radiation. As our ancestors did in the past, Man will resort to the caves of the earth not only to save themselves from the falling bolides, but also from the radiation which will smite them.